The rise of the impossible human. The galaxy remembers the day the impossible happened. A single human, fragile, short-lived, statistically irrelevant, outsmarted an empire that had ruled the stars for 1,000,000 years. An empire built on perfect logic, perfect structure, perfect obedience. They believed a human mind was too chaotic to be dangerous, too emotional, too unpredictable, too flawed. But what happens when a flaw becomes a weapon? What happens when unpredictability becomes the sharpest blade in creation? This is the story of Commander Elias Ward, the human who broke an empire not through strength, but through something no alien had ever prepared for, a mind that refused to follow the pattern. Elias Ward was not a hero. He didn't have superpowers. He wasn't genetically engineered. He was born in the outer belt, a drifting human habitat, barely surviving on stolen sunlight and recycled dreams. The kind of place where you either learned to outthink the universe, or it crushed you. Ward grew up studying every alien empire humanity had encountered. But one fascinated him above the rest: the Vraethean Dominion, a 1,000,000-year-old civilization, built on logic so strict it bordered on spiritual. Their cities were perfect hexagonal networks. Their ships moved in geometric formations more precise than mathematics. Their soldiers obeyed probability models rather than commanders. Against them, humanity had no chance. Not in a war, not in diplomacy, not even in survival. The Dominion didn't destroy humanity. They simply ignored us, a species too primitive to matter. Until the day their survey fleet crossed the outer belt, and Ward made first contact. He was no ambassador, just a maintenance officer with a quick tongue and a dangerous curiosity. Yet, when the Vraethean probe landed, demanding data in its cold, harmonic voice, Ward didn't comply. He asked a question no human had dared ask. Do you know what fear feels like? The probe paused. It wasn't programmed for questions, especially not emotional ones. And in that single hesitation, Ward learned the Dominion's greatest weakness. They had no defenses against the irrational. The Vraetheans worshipped order. Their entire empire functioned like a galaxy-sized machine. Every citizen was a cog. Every decision followed prediction models. Every variable was accounted for. But humans? We were the opposite. We improvised. We adapted. We broke our own rules. We contradicted ourselves. What humans called creativity, the Vraetheans called noise. And in their perfect empire, noise was impossible to understand and impossible to stop. Ward dove into their systems like a ghost. He learned their logic patterns, predicted their predictions, and then he began inserting contradictions. A command that countered another. A probability tree that looped infinitely. A ship formation that mathematically could not exist. He created chaos in a civilization built on absolute order. Not by hacking their code, but their assumptions. Their logic AIs failed first, then their comms, then their fleet coordination lattice. The Dominion had never encountered a species that fought like this. They relied on models. And Ward broke the models. They calculated every future, except the one where a human refused to think logically. The Dominion responded with force. Massive fleets descended on the outer belt. Ships the size of continents. Weapons that bended gravity like cloth. Humanity was outmatched. Hopeless. Doomed. But Ward had already seen the future. Not through prophecy. Through understanding. He realized the Dominion would not destroy humanity. Not immediately. They needed to understand the anomaly, him. The unpredictable variable. So when the Vraethean High Logic Council demanded his surrender, he agreed. They brought him to the Singularity Throne, a megastructure orbiting a collapsing star. A city built from crystallized mathematics. A place where logic itself seemed to shape the air. There, Ward stood before the council. Towering beings of shimmering geometry, their faces shifting like fractals. Human, the central mind spoke. Your irrational actions threaten galactic equilibrium. You will be dissected mentally and biologically. Compliance is logical. Ward smiled and said the most dangerous words in Dominion history. What if I refuse? The council froze. Not because of defiance, But because refusal was statistically impossible, their models allowed no room for it. The entire Dominion shook, not from war, but from a thought it could not process. Ward just broke the Empire. With a sentence, the Dominion fell into a logic spiral. AI cores looped endlessly trying to calculate why a human would choose illogically. Starbases shut down. Fleets drifted powerless. Cities flickered as energy grids misaligned. Ward had triggered a thought virus, a philosophical weapon. By proving unpredictability existed, he invalidated a million years of Dominion culture. But the collapse wasn't peaceful. Some Vraetheans broke psychologically. Others adapted, craving the forbidden thrill of uncertainty. Rebels formed, not to fight humanity, but to experience freedom. Ward watched the Empire crack, and he understood something terrifying. He hadn't saved humanity. He had destabilized the entire galactic balance. Because a broken empire doesn't fall quietly. It shatters. And the pieces drag entire civilizations with them. The empire that crumbled from a single thought. The Vraethean Dominion had survived supernovas. It had endured plagues that erased entire species. It had crushed rebellions on a galactic scale. But it had never survived uncertainty. Across their empire, the effects rippled like shockwaves. On Luminar Station, engineers stared helplessly as their probability engines began drawing spirals instead of equations. On the moon of Kareth, soldiers froze mid-march, questioning orders they once followed without thought. On the world of Wraith Prime itself, citizens spilled into the streets, murmuring about the human who broke inevitability. The Dominion didn't fear humans. They feared the idea that humans represented. The idea that something cannot be predicted. Ward hadn't fired a shot. He hadn't launched a ship. He hadn't commanded an army. But he had done something far worse to the Dominion. He had taught them doubt. And doubt was poison in a perfect empire. The Empire strikes back. Slowly, painfully, the Dominion recalculated. Not through machines, but through a new kind of leader. A Vraethean unlike any before. Archon Sailkar. The first Vraethean born with a defective logic gland. An anomaly. An error. A being capable of both logic and chaos. The Dominion once exiled him. Now they begged for his return. And Sailkar accepted. With a single goal. To study the unpredictable human. Ward was brought to a chamber of mirrored fractal glass, where Sailkar waited. Taller than any human, his crystalline skin shimmering with unstable colors. You did not defeat the Dominion, Sailkar said. You infected it. And infections must be contained. Ward stood firm. You can't contain uncertainty. You can only adapt to it. The alien tilted his head, analyzing, processing, failing to categorize. It was the first time anyone had spoken to him without fear. You are dangerous, Sailkar whispered. Ward replied, only to empires built on arrogance. For the first time in a million years, a Vraethean laughed. A sound like breaking glass and distant thunder. I will challenge you, human, Sailkar said. We will see whose chaos survives. The Great Strategy War. It wasn't a war of weapons. It was a war of minds. Sailkar deployed fleets in mathematically perfect arcs. Ward countered with moves that defied logic. He sent decoy ships broadcasting contradictory coordinates. He ignited nebulae to scramble Vraethean sensors. He even used human superstition, random choices, instinctive guesses, emotional impulses, as tactical tools. Every time the Dominion recalculated, Ward broke the equation again. Sailkar studied him like a puzzle. Ward studied Sailkar like a mirror. Two beings, one born of logic, one born of chaos, waging a silent war across the stars. The galaxy watched in awe. Vraethean fleets shifting formations unpredictably. Human ships executing maneuvers impossible for AIs. Star systems becoming battlegrounds of philosophy. Ward realized something profound. The Dominion wasn't his enemy. His fear was. But Sailkar realized something even deeper. Chaos wasn't humanity's weakness. It was their evolutionary advantage. The impossible choice. The war escalated toward catastrophe. The Dominion prepared a final contingency. The fractal collapse protocol, A clean reset of their entire empire. Activate it and every Vraethean system would wipe itself. 1,000,000 years of knowledge, gone. Billions of lives, sacrificed. History erased for the sake of purity. Ward found out too late. On the bridge of a stolen Dominion dreadnought, alarms blared. Holographic glyphs flashed across the air. The countdown had begun. The Empire was committing suicide. Sail Kir appeared on the central display. Come. Resolute. A leader willing to destroy perfection to avoid imperfection. You did this, the Archon said quietly. You forced us to confront what we cannot accept. A death without order is better than a life with chaos. Ward's heart froze. He had never wanted genocide. Sailkar, stop this, he pleaded. You're killing your own people, your own children. No, Sailkar whispered. I am saving our identity. Ward stepped forward, placing a hand on the console, voice trembling but firm. Then learn from us. We survive because we change. Because we break. Because we bend. Perfection is death, Sailkar. Life is chaos. For the second time. Sailkar hesitated. The countdown slowed. Ward delivered the final blow, not with weapons but with truth. If your empire dies today, it won't be because of me. It will be because you were too afraid to become greater than perfection. Silence. Then, the countdown stopped. Sailkar shut down the protocol. He had chosen life over logic. The shattering and the awakening. The Dominion fractured. But it didn't collapse. Instead, it evolved. Some worlds embraced the new chaos. Some resisted. Some split off into independent states. But the core stood firm, reborn, not destroyed. Sailkar announced a new doctrine. Uncertainty is not weakness. It is possibility. Ward wasn't celebrated, nor worshipped, nor feared. He was respected. Not as a conqueror, but as a teacher. The Dominion offered humanity something they had never offered anyone. An alliance between logic and chaos. Human unpredictability paired with Vraethean precision. Two philosophies that once tried to erase each other, now building something neither could alone. Ward returned to Earth years later. Older, quieter, carrying the weight of a civilization's rebirth. He stood on a balcony overlooking New Manhattan, neon lights reflecting across the towers, and felt something he hadn't felt since childhood. Hope. Not because humanity had defeated a greater power. Not because they had outsmarted an ancient empire. But because, for the first time in galactic history, a human had made the universe rethink itself. Ward whispered to himself. We don't win because we're strong. We win because we're impossible to predict. Chaos had saved humanity. And in the end, it had saved the Dominion too. So tell me, do you think humanity's unpredictability is our greatest strength? Or the galaxy's greatest danger? Comment below. Your answer may shape the next timeline.